Now, more Live at 5 with Stephen A. Turner and Vic Evans on 102.7 The Game.
Live at 5, brought to you by Foreman Watson Holtry, FWHlegal.com. Stephen A. Turner, Coach Vic Evans here in this Canty Dairy Queen baseball top 10. Let's jump into the top 5, and this thing, kind of like the start times of spring sports, Vic, is very fluid because these teams you could pretty much throw a blanket over. A lot of them really inside the top 10, but at the 5 spot is the Meade County Wave, sitting at 8-6 on the season. They went 2-4 down in Myrtle Beach versus out-of-state competition. In the wins over Atkins, North Carolina, you had Aiden Bratcher with 2 hits and an RBI. And the win over Southlake. How about Hale? Complete game, 8-inning outing. He went the extra inning as well and only gave up 1 hit, 11 strikeouts. And you're starting to see what I thought you would see once the season goes along. This guy was the best pitcher statistically on paper last year in the region. Starting to kind of make an impact for the Waves right now.
Yeah, he's throwing it really, really well, and not just him. Their whole pitching staff. There's a couple other ones there that
Waters has been good.
Waters has been really good. And so that's going to be a team to be reckoned with. That's just such an interesting district overall because of the pitching with Tyndall, Burnett and some of the guys at Breck who've thrown well.
Yeah, there's
DeWitt's thrown pretty well in relief.
Yeah, that's the one. You'll have to find that one guy. But Breck, here's the thing: they win so often, right? And then you throw Meade into the mix. The way Hancock's playing, this 11th district is absolutely wide open. And these district games in the 11th, that 1 seed is very appealing. To not have to play an elimination game to get yourself to the regional tournament is certainly the way to go. Meade County hosts LaRue County tonight, Thomas Nelson tomorrow, and then Grayson County later this week for Meade County. At the 4 spot is where Apollo sits this week, 9-4 on the season. Went 2-2 over spring break with a tough loss to Ballard, a big loss there, and then a tough loss to number 2, McCracken County. But they did get wins over Carlisle County and a 2-1 win over Breckenridge County. I know in that win over Carlisle, Strode drove in 4, and Grayson Smith earned the win on the mound. You can hear them right now over on CJ 105. A game is underway with Caleb Farkas. They're taking on South Spencer, and they've got Breckenridge County a little bit later this week due to the Eagles. But what surprised me, Vic, about you look at the overall stats of the pitching staff of Apollo, hasn't been quite as dominant as we thought it might be going into the season. And maybe that's just, early season. The weather's been kind of weird. You don't really know what that is, but I expected a little bit more a dominating performance from the top of the rotation from Apollo. Well, no, they're sitting at 9-4, so it's been good enough. But I kind of expected them to be,
There's been a couple games, and when you're in this early and you're talking about throwing 18 to 20 innings, if you go out and have one bad outing, like Noah Cook, if you look at his ERA, it's up there. But, he had the bad outing against Calakai. And so the thing about high school, a lot of times, especially early in the year, one bad outing where you have a bad 3 innings and you go out and you go up 7-8 runs, it really kind of skews some of the numbers. And so I'm not as concerned. I mean, I maybe a little bit that it hasn't been, usually pitching's ahead of hitting early, and there's been a couple outings like that. But, when it comes down to, we get into May, and you got to go beat Apollo with Strode or Cook on the mound. You better bring your lunch pail.
Yeah, I agree with that, no doubt.
Still like to see him pitch inside more.
Yeah. You talked about it during the broadcast. And with Strode, I haven't seen him throw this year, but I know one thing. Getting it done at the plate. I mean, right now he's hitting bombs and driving in runs left and right for this Eagle offense. And he was our Canty Dairy Queen Eagle of the Week on the last go-around. This time, it's going to be Mr. Easton Blanford, 11 hits on the season, a .407 average, 8 RBIs with a double and a homer for Blanford. He's our Eagle of the Week, courtesy of Canty Dairy Queen. At the 3 spot, be the Davis County Panthers. We'll see them in action tomorrow, 7-4. It's been kind of a mixed bag for everybody in the region, but it's been a mixed bag for the Panthers too. 3-2 over spring break. They got wins over Nicholas County, Washington County, and then Sayre, which was the marquee win of the season so far for the Panthers. Tough losses to Lafayette and Bullitt Central in there as well. But that win over Sayre, Lake Wilson on the mound, scatters 5 hits over 7 innings of work, got the complete game win. And then Decker Renfro starting to get it going, 3 hits, drove in 3 runs. And that's it's been different guys that have carried led the way for Davis County early. I expect that when Renfro and Troutman start to get in a rhythm, then I think that's when this team really becomes dangerous.
Yeah, Renfro usually, when he sits at the top of the order, he's a table setter, and he got off to a slow start, but it's really, like I said, you look at his average, it's jumped to about 220 points in the last week and a half. Same thing. When you get the small sample size, you go 0 for 4, the average really drops. But the good thing about it is if you have a week like he did, where you get 3 or 4 hits in 2 or 3 games, all of a sudden the average, takes a big jump up there. I'm interested in tomorrow, that matchup with Owensboro, because I think that's two teams that are led more by their offense than they are their pitching staff. And we'll see how it works.
Yeah, they got a big week this week. You got Butler County tonight, Owensboro tomorrow, and then Owensboro Catholic on Thursday. So 2 big district games looming large for the Panthers this week. Champion Ford, the sponsor for the Panther of the Week, it'll be on the softball side this week for Davis County. Moving to the 2 spot, that's where Owensboro Catholic is sitting, 7-4 as well, 3-1 over the spring break competition. They got big wins over some top Georgia teams. Only loss was to Frederick Douglass while they were away. In the Union Grove win, Parker Heastan drove in 2. Versus Bethlehem Christian, you had Mitchell Sims driving in 2. Ben Highland with 7 strong innings on the mound, only gave up 3 hits, or 7 strikeouts, 3 hits, and 6 innings of work for Highland in that victory. And then McIntosh, who, if you look up McIntosh, they're number 2 ranked team in 5A in Georgia, and Jackson White, who is coming out of nowhere.
7th grader.
He's the leader of the ERA, right?
Yeah, he hasn't given up one yet.
Yeah.
0.00. It's hard not to be the leader.
That makes it impossible to be anybody to be better. This kid, 7th grader?
7th grader.
I did not know that fact.
Yeah, 7th grader.
I'm going to leave it to Catholic to throw a 7th grader out there. He had no hits given up against the number 2 team in Georgia 5A through 6 innings of work, and then Brady Atwell did the rest with a 2-run bomb to give him a 2-0 win there. Big game tonight, maybe, on WBIO, because Hancock County takes on the Aces in the All-A, and then Davis County on Thursday. This is an interesting week for Catholic.
It is.
Taking on number 1 and number 3.
And then that'll be a great match tonight. You figure, just guesstimating here, you're going to get a Parsons versus Tyndall matchup. And Tyndall's sitting there in the top 7 in ERA. Parsons was just outside the top 10. He had like a 2.33. So, it's going to be a nice matchup between those two, and it'd be worth watching. It'd be worth listening to tonight on WBIO.
No doubt about it. And
plus, there's never been a love off between those two schools.
Oh, no. You go back a couple years and you have a little interesting semifinal third region game there.
And I've heard the text messages between the teams have been flying already all day today.
If I'm not mistaken, it was Tyndall on the mound in that game, right?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Maybe he swings it back around tonight for a little revenge game for Mr. Tyndall, but that's going to be on WBIO. St. Camilla's Urgent Care is our Catholic Ace of the Week sponsor. It'll be on the softball side tomorrow. At the 1 spot is the aforementioned Hancock County Hornets hanging in there at 9-3. They went 3-2 in Fort Walton, wins over Fern Creek, Bath County, and Thornton. And losses again. North Oldham, a thorn in the side. 3 losses, 2 of them are to North Oldham. The other loss was to Madison Central. Cole Dixon batting .429 on the season, 4 doubles, 3 triples, 12 stolen bases. And right now, with Brady Atwell right there, and probably you probably throw Strode in there too, some guys to start looking at for Player of the Year early on. Dixon's numbers just fly off the page. Lede, Velasco, Cowan, Ryan Jones, all batting over 300. Big production from the Hornets offensively. That's been the difference, I think. The pitching was good last year, but the offense was inconsistent.
Well, we're getting really Dixon back at the top of the order really helps solidify that.
Dude.
Yeah, he's a big-time player.
He signed anywhere yet?
Not yet. I don't think.
Man,
I don't think he's committed anywhere.
Better wake up on this kid.
He will. That won't be a problem. But what a week it is here. You got 1 versus 2 tonight.
Yeah.
1 versus. Well, I'm going to guess and say 1 versus 2. The top 10 isn't done on softball on Thursday night.
It's 1 versus 2.
It's 1 versus 2.
Spoiler alert. Yeah. It might have a change at 1 tomorrow on the Canton Dairy Queen top 10, but it'll be 1. But it doesn't matter because they're going to play on Thursday.
They're going to play on Thursday.
So, yeah, you got 1-2 matchups on both sides, and we'll have both those.
Yes.
On the Cromwell family of networks. But for Hancock County, they've also got Butler County a little bit later this week. Our Commonwealth Road Products Hornet of the Week will be Brock Tyndall on the mound. Maybe tonight. We'll see. 4 starts.
He's on the mound tonight.
30 strikeouts.
If he's not on the mound tonight, Steve, I'll eat my hat.
There you go. If you walk to Hancock, not quite like that. 4 starts, 30 Ks, and only 24 innings pitched with a 1.44 ERA and a 3-0 record so far for Tyndall, who is our Hornet of the Week. We'll come back and wrap things up on a Monday, live at 5, 102.7 The